A man can desire you, admire you, chase you, and still not truly love you. But when a man is deeply in love, something inside him changes permanently, and you can feel it long before he ever says the words. Because real love is never revealed only through romance. According to Carl Jung, true love exposes the hidden parts of a person. And today, you are about to discover the powerful psychological signs that reveal when a man is not just attracted to you, but emotionally, spiritually, and deeply attached to your soul. Have you ever felt someone trying to act normal around you while their energy says something completely different? They look calm on the outside, but around you, something shifts in them. Their attention changes, their presence changes. Even silence between you feels emotionally heavy. That is because genuine love is difficult to hide. Carl Jung believed that what affects the soul deeply always reveals itself indirectly through behavior, emotion, and unconscious actions. So while many men may hide feelings verbally, the unconscious mind always leaves clues. And once you understand these signs, you will never confuse temporary attention with real love again. A man who is deeply in love becomes emotionally consistent. This is one of the biggest differences between attraction and genuine emotional attachment. Attraction can be intense one day and distant the next, because it is often driven by excitement, ego, or temporary desire. But real love creates steadiness. Even if he is busy, stressed, or emotionally overwhelmed, there is still a quiet consistency in how he treats you. You no longer feel like you must constantly guess where you stand. Carl Jung believed that when something truly matters to the unconscious mind, energy naturally organizes itself around it. A man in love may not always communicate perfectly, but his effort remains present because emotionally, he has already connected your presence with meaning, comfort, and emotional importance. Another sign is that he remembers the smallest details about you without trying. He remembers things you casually mentioned weeks ago, the way you drink your coffee, the story you told once when you were tired, the song you said reminded you of childhood. This happens because love increases emotional attention. Jung understood that the mind naturally focuses on what emotionally transforms us. A man in deep love studies you unconsciously because your existence becomes emotionally significant inside his inner world. He notices your moods, your energy shifts, your silence, even the emotions you try to hide from others. Not because he is analyzing you, but because emotionally attached people naturally become deeply observant toward the person they love. A deeply in love man also begins lowering emotional walls he once protected carefully. Many men are taught from an early age to hide vulnerability, suppress emotion, and appear emotionally controlled. But love slowly weakens those defenses. Around the right person, he begins revealing fears, insecurities, dreams, regrets, and emotional wounds he rarely shares with anyone else. Carl Jung believed that intimacy begins when the persona starts falling away. The persona is the mask people wear to protect themselves from rejection or judgment. A man who loves you deeply eventually becomes tired of pretending around you because your presence starts feeling emotionally safe. And emotional safety is one of the strongest foundations of lasting love. Another powerful sign is that your happiness genuinely affects his emotional state. When a man truly loves someone, her emotional well-being stops feeling separate from his own. Your pain disturbs him, your peace calms him, your joy affects his mood in ways he cannot fully explain logically. Jung believed that deep love creates psychological interconnectedness between two people. This does not mean unhealthy dependency, it means emotional resonance. Your emotional energy begins carrying meaning inside his inner world. He starts caring not only about having you, but about protecting your peace, supporting your growth, and becoming someone who contributes positively to your life instead of draining it. A man deeply in love also begins thinking long-term without forcing it. You will notice him naturally speaking in terms of we instead of only me. He imagines experiences, plans, and future possibilities that include you automatically. This is important because emotionally unavailable people often avoid future language entirely. But when love becomes real, the mind instinctively begins building emotional permanence. Jung believed that the soul naturally seeks expansion toward what feels meaningful. A man in deep love does not simply enjoy moments with you temporarily. Somewhere internally, he begins wanting continuity. He wants your presence woven into the future version of his life. Another major sign is emotional protectiveness, not control. Not jealousy disguised as love. Real protectiveness is calm, steady, and respectful. He wants to know you arrived home safely. He notices when something feels emotionally off. He becomes attentive toward your stress, exhaustion, or emotional burdens. This happens because love awakens responsibility. Jung believed that genuine attachment pushes people beyond self-centered desire into deeper emotional care. A man in love starts feeling emotionally responsible for the energy he brings into your life. He becomes more aware of his actions because hurting you emotionally begins hurting him too. One of the deepest signs of all is that he becomes emotionally changed by knowing you. Carl Jung believed certain connections activate transformation inside the human soul. These are not ordinary attractions. These are relationships that awaken hidden parts of a person's identity. A man deeply in love often starts reevaluating himself. His habits change, his emotional maturity grows, his priorities shift. Not because you forced him to change, but because love naturally exposes the gap between who he currently is and who he wants to become. The right connection inspires growth without manipulation. He begins wanting to rise emotionally because your presence awakens a higher version of himself. And finally, one of the clearest signs is this. He does not only want your attention, he wants your truth. Many people chase validation, attraction, or emotional comfort, but a man truly in love wants to know the real you beneath the surface. Your fears, your thoughts, your quiet side, your dreams, your scars. He becomes emotionally curious about your inner world because love seeks depth, not performance. Jung believed that true intimacy happens when two people stop relating only through masks and begin meeting soul to soul. A man deeply in love stops loving only the image of you. He begins loving the reality of you. If you are still watching, comment real love below, because very few people ever experience a connection that reaches this level of emotional depth. And subscribe for more Carl Jung wisdom, psychology, and deep relationship truths that help you understand human connection on an entirely different level. Most people think love is loud. They believe if a man truly loves you, he will constantly say it, constantly prove it, constantly put on dramatic displays of affection. But deep love rarely begins with noise. According to the ideas explored by Carl Jung, real love often begins in the unconscious, long before it becomes visible on the surface. A man who is deeply and truly in love with you begins changing in subtle ways that even he may not fully understand at first. One of the first signs is emotional attentiveness. He notices details about you that other people overlook completely. He remembers small things you casually mentioned days or even weeks ago because your words continue living inside his mind. Your moods affect him. Your silence affects him. Your happiness brings him relief in a way that feels deeply personal. He begins emotionally organizing part of his inner world around your presence without realizing he is doing it. What makes this different from temporary attraction is consistency. Attraction chases excitement, but deep love pays attention. A man in love studies your emotional world carefully because somewhere inside him, he has already connected your well-being to his own emotional state. Jung believed that genuine connection activates hidden layers of the psyche, and this is why a man in love often becomes more reflective around the woman he deeply values. He starts questioning himself more honestly. He becomes aware of his fears, insecurities, and emotional habits because your presence unconsciously pushes him toward growth. This is why love can sometimes make a man quieter instead of louder. He feels the weight of what he could lose. He senses that this connection matters beyond surface attraction. And because of that, he begins protecting the bond emotionally, even in small, invisible ways. A man who is deeply, truly, and madly in love with you begins creating emotional space for you inside his daily life without needing to force it. You slowly become part of his inner routine. He thinks about telling you things while experiences are still happening. When something meaningful, funny, stressful, or exciting occurs, his mind naturally moves toward you because emotionally he already sees you as significant. This is one of the strongest psychological signs of genuine attachment. According to the ideas explored by Carl Jung, love is not only attraction, it is psychological integration. The person begins occupying real emotional importance within the unconscious structure of another person's life. This means he does not only want your attention during convenient moments, he wants your presence woven into his reality. He begins imagining future situations with you naturally and without effort. Your opinion starts carrying unusual emotional weight. He values how you see him because your perception touches parts of his identity that few others reach. A deeply in love man also becomes emotionally protective, not in a controlling way, but in a careful and thoughtful way. He notices when you are overwhelmed. He senses emotional shifts in your energy even when you say very little. Sometimes he responds before you even explain what is wrong, because he has become emotionally tuned to you. Another important sign is emotional consistency during difficult moments. Temporary attraction disappears when life becomes inconvenient, but genuine love moves closer instead of pulling away completely. Even when confused or stressed, he still feels emotionally connected to you underneath everything else. His actions begin showing reliability because real love naturally seeks emotional stability, trust, and long-term closeness rather than temporary excitement alone. One of the deepest signs a man is truly and madly in love with you is that your presence begins changing how he sees himself. Real love does not only create emotional attachment, it activates transformation. According to the psychological ideas explored by Carl Jung, meaningful relationships awaken hidden parts of the personality that normally remain buried beneath routine and emotional defenses. A man in deep love often becomes more self-aware because your connection forces him to confront parts of himself he previously ignored. He begins thinking more seriously about his future, his emotional patterns, and the kind of man he wants to become. This change is rarely immediate or dramatic on the surface. Often it appears quietly. He starts becoming more intentional with his actions. He cares more about stability, communication, and emotional honesty, because losing your respect suddenly feels painful to imagine. Your opinion matters to him not because he lacks confidence, but because emotionally you have become important to his identity. He wants you to see the best version of him, and that desire naturally pushes him toward growth. You may also notice that he becomes more emotionally vulnerable around you than he is with other people. Men who deeply love often reveal hidden fears, private dreams, insecurities, and unresolved pain only to the person they truly trust. This vulnerability is significant because many men spend years protecting those inner parts of themselves from the world. When a man allows you to see beneath his emotional armor, it means he feels psychologically safe with you. Love creates that safety. He no longer wants only admiration or attraction. He wants understanding, emotional closeness, and a connection where he can exist without constantly pretending to be unaffected. A man who is deeply and genuinely in love with you begins prioritizing emotional connection over ego. This is one of the clearest differences between temporary attraction and real love. Attraction often focuses on validation, control, or excitement, but love softens the constant need to protect pride. According to the ideas explored by Carl Jung, authentic connection forces a person to move beyond the surface identity they show the world. When a man truly loves you, he gradually becomes more willing to lower emotional defenses because the connection feels more important than always appearing strong or unaffected. This does not mean he suddenly becomes perfect at communication or emotionally fearless. In fact, deep love can make him feel more emotionally exposed than ever before. But despite that fear, he still keeps moving emotionally toward you. He wants resolution after conflict instead of emotional distance. He thinks about how his actions affect you. Even during misunderstandings, there is a part of him that still wants closeness rather than emotional separation. That desire for reconnection is extremely important because people only fight to preserve what truly matters to them emotionally. You may also notice that he becomes more patient with your emotions instead of dismissing them quickly. A man deeply in love listens differently. He tries to understand what is beneath your words rather than reacting only to the surface. He begins valuing emotional harmony because your inner world starts feeling connected to his own peace. Over time, his behavior becomes less centered around impressing you and more centered around protecting the emotional safety between you. That shift reveals that the relationship is no longer based only on attraction or chemistry, but on genuine emotional attachment and deep psychological investment. One of the strongest signs a man is deeply and madly in love with you is the way he remains emotionally present even when life becomes difficult or emotionally uncomfortable. Many people can show affection when everything feels easy, exciting, and emotionally light. But genuine love reveals itself most clearly during uncertainty, stress, conflict, or emotional distance. According to the psychological insights of Carl Jung, true emotional bonds force people to confront both their desire for connection and their fear of vulnerability at the same time. A man who truly loves you may sometimes struggle internally, but he does not emotionally disappear in the way emotionally unavailable people often do. Even when overwhelmed, there is still an invisible emotional thread connecting him back to you. He still checks on you. He still thinks about how you feel. He still wants to know whether the connection is safe. This consistency matters because love creates emotional responsibility. Your pain affects him. Your distance affects him. The possibility of losing the connection creates real emotional tension inside him because he no longer sees you as temporary. Another important sign is that he begins choosing honesty over emotional performance. A man deeply in love eventually becomes tired of pretending around you. He wants to be understood, not just admired. He starts revealing sides of himself that are imperfect, uncertain, or emotionally wounded because your connection feels safe enough to hold those truths. This vulnerability is powerful because most people protect those hidden parts carefully. Love weakens that emotional armor slowly over time. You may also notice that he starts fighting for emotional clarity instead of avoiding difficult conversations completely. He values preserving the connection more than protecting temporary comfort, because deep love naturally seeks emotional closeness, reassurance, and genuine understanding. A man who is deeply and truly in love with you begins seeing you as part of his future, without needing to force the idea consciously. This does not always appear through dramatic promises or perfectly planned conversations in the beginning. Often it reveals itself through small, natural shifts in the way he speaks, plans, and emotionally includes you in his life. According to the psychological ideas explored by Carl Jung, real love creates integration. The other person slowly becomes woven into the structure of your inner world. A deeply in love man starts making decisions while unconsciously considering your presence within them. You may notice him mentioning future experiences with you casually, almost without realizing it. He imagines places you would enjoy together. He thinks about how certain choices could affect the relationship. Your existence no longer feels separate from his long-term emotional reality. This is important because temporary attraction usually lives only in the present moment, while genuine love naturally begins building continuity. He does not only want access to you emotionally today, He wants to keep you close in the life he is creating for himself. Another sign is that he becomes more protective of the connection itself. He values stability more than emotional games. He becomes careful with actions that could damage trust because losing the relationship feels emotionally significant. A man in deep love also begins wanting emotional alignment, not just chemistry. He cares whether your values, dreams, emotional needs, and vision of life connect with his on a deeper level. This often makes him more intentional overall. He begins thinking beyond surface attraction and starts asking himself whether he can truly build something meaningful with you, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually over time. One of the deepest signs a man is madly and genuinely in love with you is that he begins feeling emotionally affected by your absence in ways he cannot easily ignore or explain. According to the psychological ideas explored by Carl Jung, powerful emotional connections activate unconscious attachment patterns that continue operating even when two people are physically apart. When a man truly loves you, your presence becomes emotionally regulating for him. Your energy, your voice, your attention, and even your small daily interactions begin carrying emotional weight inside his inner world. When those things are missing, he feels the difference deeply. This is why a man in love often notices your absence more intensely than he expected. Silence from you affects his mood. Emotional distance creates restlessness inside him. He may replay conversations in his mind, wonder how you are feeling, or suddenly remember details connected to you during ordinary moments throughout the day. These reactions are not simply obsession or temporary infatuation. They happen because emotionally you have become meaningful to his sense of comfort, emotional grounding, and psychological connection. Another important sign is that he does not easily replace the emotional experience he has with you. Deep love creates uniqueness. Even when surrounded by other people, he still feels emotionally drawn toward you because the connection touches parts of him that ordinary attraction cannot reach. He compares emotional depth unconsciously and realizes that what exists between you feels rare. This emotional impact also creates longing for emotional closeness, not just physical closeness. He misses conversations, emotional understanding, shared silence, and the feeling of being genuinely seen by you, because real love craves emotional intimacy as much as attraction. One of the final and most powerful signs a man is deeply, truly, and madly in love with you is that he begins choosing emotional truth over emotional comfort. Most people spend years protecting themselves from vulnerability, avoiding difficult emotions, and staying inside patterns that feel safe and predictable. But real love disrupts those defenses. According to the ideas explored by Carl Jung, authentic connection forces a person to confront hidden parts of themselves, including fears, insecurities, emotional wounds, and desires they once tried to suppress. A man who genuinely loves you eventually reaches a point where denying his feelings becomes more painful than admitting them. This is when his actions begin carrying deeper emotional honesty. He stops hiding behind emotional distance, mixed signals, or superficial behavior. He becomes more direct about wanting you in his life because emotionally, he understands the connection matters too much to remain undefined forever. Even if fear still exists inside him, love slowly becomes stronger than avoidance. He begins taking emotional risks he would not normally take because the possibility of losing the connection feels heavier than the discomfort of vulnerability. You may also notice that he becomes more emotionally transparent around you. He shares thoughts he normally keeps private. He allows you to see uncertainty, tenderness, and emotional depth without constantly trying to appear emotionally invulnerable. This level of openness is rare because many men are taught to protect those softer parts of themselves carefully from the world. A man deeply in love also begins valuing emotional authenticity over appearances. He no longer wants a connection built only on attraction or fantasy. He wants something real, emotionally safe, psychologically honest, and strong enough to survive beyond temporary emotions or surface-level excitement. So, after everything we have explored, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. A man who is deeply, truly, and madly in love does not reveal it only through dramatic words or temporary passion. Real love changes the way he thinks, the way he feels, the way he carries your presence within his inner world. It reaches beyond attraction and begins touching his identity, his emotional patterns, his fears, his future, and even the parts of himself he once kept hidden from everyone else. That is why deep love feels different from ordinary connection. It creates transformation. According to the psychological insights explored by Carl Jung, genuine relationships awaken the unconscious. They bring hidden emotions to the surface and force people to confront truths they may have spent years avoiding. This is why a man who truly loves you often becomes quieter, more thoughtful, and more emotionally aware over time. Love makes him notice your absence, value your peace, protect your trust, and question the life he is building without you in it. Your presence stops feeling optional to him emotionally because somewhere deep inside, he recognizes the connection as meaningful. But it is important to understand something equally powerful. Real love is not proven by obsession, control, or emotional chaos. Many people mistake intensity for love, when in reality, intensity can come from fear, insecurity, loneliness, or emotional dependency. True love feels different. It creates emotional responsibility. A man in genuine love does not only want access to you, he wants to understand you, protect the connection, and become someone capable of sustaining the emotional depth he feels with you. He begins valuing honesty over games, emotional closeness over ego, and long-term emotional safety over temporary excitement. And perhaps the deepest sign of all is this: a man who truly loves you cannot remain emotionally untouched by you. Even if life becomes complicated, even if fear appears, even if he struggles internally, the connection continues affecting him because deep love leaves a psychological imprint. Your energy lingers inside his thoughts. Your words remain alive within him. Your absence changes the emotional atmosphere of his world. That kind of love cannot be performed artificially because it changes a person from the inside out. At the same time, this speech is also a reminder for you. Never measure your worth only by whether someone chooses you quickly or expresses love perfectly. Human beings are complex. Many people feel deeply long before they fully understand how to express it. Some carry fears they are still learning to face. Some struggle with vulnerability because of past pain. But regardless of another person's journey, your value remains unchanged. Real love should never require you to abandon yourself, shrink your needs, or constantly chase emotional reassurance. The right connection will move toward honesty, emotional depth, mutual respect, and genuine effort over time. It will not leave you endlessly questioning your worth. Because when love is real, even if it grows slowly, it naturally seeks truth, clarity, and emotional closeness. It wants to build, not just consume. It wants peace, not constant confusion. And most importantly, it inspires both people to grow into more honest versions of themselves. So if you recognize these signs in someone, pay attention not only to their words, but to their consistency, their emotional presence, their willingness to grow, and the quiet ways your existence affects their inner world. Because deep love is rarely found in loud performances. More often, it is found in steady emotional devotion, quiet transformation and the undeniable feeling that two souls have changed simply because they met each other.